Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fan Frenzy Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borgia, alongside co-host Ben Lotman, Jake Holdenauer, Gabe Layden. Today, we got a fun one for you. It's going to be a lot of college football, NFL, but we're getting into that in a little bit. So I'm going to start us off with some news that I got. Some of it's tragic, others are some good things. So we'll start it off with one of my favorite things in the news so far. I don't know if any of you three saw, and I know Ben knows that outside the Flyers organization, this is my favorite player. Ben, do you have any idea who I'm referring to?
Maybe.
Okay, well, Leon Draisaitl
Oh yeah.
got a new contract today, fellas, and it's a big one for hockey. 8 years, $112 million.
Wow.
Second best player in the league. Hockey players don't get paid like that, man.
Where does that rank all time with contracts?
That's a good question. Does someone want to look that up, and I'll keep going through the news? It's actually a really good question. All I know is that is
because when we were predicting earlier in this year that he was going to make the second most money of all time, right behind McDavid, I think.
Yeah.
So
all I know is that is a hefty deal for hockey, man. You don't see that happen at all. Because most of the guys, when you look at it in hockey, they get paid from like the best of the best gets paid from like 10
how
much
did you say it was?
112 for 8.
That's the second biggest one of all time. The biggest one was
Austin Matthews?
No, it was Alex Ovechkin for 124 over 13 years.
Wow. So that's interesting too, because he's not even the number one option.
You said how much for 13? 124?
Yeah.
So he's getting paid 12 less million for 5 less years. That is nuts.
Yeah, AAV. I don't know what it is like AAV wise, but that's I think that might be the most AAV.
Dude, that is insane.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Draisaitl, he's also the second best option on his team, right? He's not even number one.
He's the second best option on his team.
I mean, on every other team, he would be the
best guy.
But if you're going by AAV, that's the largest ever contract which is AAV for those of you that don't know is the yearly salary.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, it's fun. I'm just looking at this now. Shea Weber is listed as a Utah player, which I didn't know.
Oh wow,
that's funny. He doesn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
I also have 3 more contracts that I wanted to bring up. First, as of today, Trent Williams got a 3-year, $82 million deal, and I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy. Don't get me wrong.
What? He's good.
No.
Is he old?
No, listen.
Would you say he's old?
Yes, that's my reasoning here. The talent's there. He's the best at his position in the league. But when you're that old, man, you should not be paying a guy that much. That's absurd to me. I don't know if he's gonna keep it up either. How old is he now? Like 36? Like a crazy number. He's old, man.
Yeah, I would have. I mean, if I were the 49ers, what I would have done is I would have tried to go for maybe a 2-year deal or at least a 2-year deal plus a team option on the third year because there's just no. I mean, honestly, could he retire before that? Maybe, but I don't.
They're not gonna have any money to pay Purdy at all.
They don't need to. No, Purdy, they don't need to. Purdy's a bridge QB. He's not gonna be their franchise QB. He's their bridge QB.
That's kind of.
Think about it this way, because Brock Purdy was drafted in the 7th round. Of course, he was Mr. Irrelevant. So I believe when you're not drafted in the 1st or 2nd round in the NFL, you have 3 guaranteed years on his contract. And why not, after that 3 years is done, just draft another QB? Because they don't need a good QB in that system. They have Brock Purdy. So they don't need a
3 or 4 years. I'm not exactly sure, but
I'm pretty sure it goes 5 years 1st round, 4 years 2nd round, and then 3 years the rest.
How many years are you going to rely on a rookie quarterback though to win?
Well, not because then next draft, whenever Brock Purdy's contract's up, you get a 1st round QB. You have him for the next 5 years.
Here's the only issue with that. The only issue is the 49ers have done that. They drafted Trey Lance, didn't work out. Now he's a backup. And, people forget about it because the 49ers have done really well, even though they failed at that. And that trade, by the way, was horrific if you look at it. Terrible. But I would say I think they could do that, but let's say they make the Super Bowl this year. I think if they make the NFC Championship, then, I don't know. But if they make the Super Bowl, even, if they win the Super Bowl, like it's really hard to move on from a guy that's you just don't see it. You just don't see NFL quarterbacks that have any success get moved on from.
And even if Brock Purdy ends up winning the Super Bowl this year, I think you still get him at a discount. I don't think he makes $50 million a year. I think he makes on the lower end, like high 30s, low 40s max.
Or they're just going to follow the trends, I think. They could just follow the trends and pay him a crazy amount because that's what
they definitely could, but I don't think Brock Purdy deserves $50 million a year.
I don't think so either, but I think it's possible he still gets it regardless.
Yeah, on top of that, though, the other contract that happened, obviously, that's a part of the news recap, is the Brandon Ayuk $120 million for 4 years. Yep. So, now, are you really going to be able to pay him for $40 million?
And I believe that Deebo Samuel, they restructured his contract to make both those deals happen. So good on Deebo Samuel for transferring some of his cap to salary. I think it is. I think that's how that works.
See, the funny thing is these teams are just trying to copy the Eagles, but you can't do better than Howie. Howie's the GOAT at cap manipulation, if you want to call it that.
I agree. I actually 100% agree. Moving on, some other news that I got. Or wait, I actually have one contract left before I forget. Cam Hayward, 3 years for $45 million.
Surprised me.
He's old up. He's old too, man.
He's old. And let me check his age real quick because when I saw it,
give me Trent Williams' age while you're at it too. Give me both of them.
The first thing when I saw Cameron Hayward get re-signed isn't he retiring next year?
Yeah, I kind of thought the same
Cameron Hayward is 35, and Trent Williams
he's got to be 36.
36, you're right. Yeah. So a couple of the old veterans getting big contracts.
Yeah. I think if you look at a guy like Cameron Hayward.
I like Cam Hayward, though. He's a cool guy.
I like him. He's a great guy, like a great guy off the field, a great leader. I think what they're looking at is kind of a Calais Campbell model, whereas like Calais Campbell still has been playing at least.
He's on the Falcons, correct?
I believe so. I can look real quick.
But that was last year. I'm not sure if he re-signed with them or not. But I think also different from Trent Williams.
He's on the Dolphins now, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So different from Trent Williams, I think Cam Hayward, I feel like interior defensive linemen can also last longer just because it's not as solo of a position. Like, yeah, the elite inside linemen are really, really good, but it's also a position where you get helped out a lot from your other guys in your line. So you don't need to be as elite or as good.
Yeah. And there's not as much depth right now. I think moving in the future, there's going to be a lot more depth of the position. But right now, there's just not that many guys that can pass rush inside. It's a lot more, and as these guys get older, their pass rush gets weaker. But as long as you're like a league average to above average run defender, you can stick in the league at defensive line for a long time.
All right. I got one more thing for the news, then I'm going to go into the unfortunate part of the news. And I wanted to start it off, by bringing in something funny before we go into the unfortunate stuff. But some news that I got, which I thought was pretty funny, was CJ Gardner-Johnson called out Travis Hunter and said the league is going to be too physical for you to play both wide receiver and safety. What are we thinking on that?
Before I state my opinion, I just want to say Travis Hunter might be one of the most talented college football players I've ever seen. I mean, Johnny Manziel for me is always going to be the best guy I watched in my time. I mean, he was so good at Texas A&M. Like him and Mike Evans is probably one of my favorite duos at any level of football I've ever watched. But I kind of too tend to agree with that. Maybe not because of the physicality, more just the fact that NFL teams aren't going to want a guy to play both ways. Yeah. It's super high injury risk. And I think he's going to end up playing receiver. I think he's better at the receiver position. And it's just people don't do it anymore. And honestly, people never really did wide receiver and corner. It was more like linebacker. And
a good point, though, Ben? Do you know why he's going to play wide receiver? He's going to get paid. That's why he's going to play receiver over safety.
Get paid more, yeah, and
a lot more.
To go off of what Ben said, it's like Travis Hunter, like you can call him the Shohei Ohtani of football, But at the same time,
you can't do it in football like you can in baseball.
Do it. Football is way too physical. Football, you're gonna get hurt. It's bound to happen. The best players in NFL history, they get hurt. Mm-hmm. And if you're playing both sides of the ball, you're going to get hurt one way or the other. And even look at Ohtani. Ohtani does play both sides. Baseball, of course, not as physical of a sport, but yet he's still had both injuries on both sides with his arm, and I believe he had a shoulder issue, but also I think an ab issue at one point. Mm-hmm. So it's like no matter what, if you're doubling up, if you're doubling up what everybody else is doing solo, which if you do one thing, it's still extremely hard and extremely risky. Then if you're doubling up, you're just gonna get hurt way more.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see a case that? I mean, obviously he's extremely talented at both. Where he goes into the league, he plays receiver. He's in a situation where the other team's in a 2-minute drill, game-winning drive. They throw him in at corner to close the game out.
I think could happen.
I think he'll be used. I don't think he's going to exclusively only ever play one side of the ball in his career. I think he'll be used in say he plays defense, he'll be used in offensive packages, or say he plays offense, which is more likely. He'll be used in defensive packages 100% on Hail Marys at the end of halves. He'll definitely be in the game. 2-minute drill, I think, is another one. I think if you're trying to play against, let's say, a rookie quarterback, putting him in to disguise a coverage could be really tricky for a rookie. For example, some stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely foresee him being listed as a wide receiver, but he could be in some different defensive packages.
And Chris, I think you brought up an interesting point for when you described Hunter. You said a receiver and then a safety at the next level, even though currently he's a cornerback. Do you think if he played both sides of the ball in the NFL, he would move to safety over cornerback?
100%. 100%. I feel like corner is a lot harder to play than safety. Some people might debate it, but from what I've seen in the NFL, it seems a lot harder to play at corner than safety.
I mean, there's a reason why James Bradberry is playing safety this season after his last season.
It's a valid point.
If he plays this season. If he plays. But
yeah, I mean,
the thing about Travis Hunter, though, is out of anybody I've ever seen play football, because I didn't watch Deion Sanders. I wasn't old enough for that. But it's like, out of anybody that I've ever seen play football, Travis Hunter, because he is an elite cornerback as well, I think he could be the guy to do it out of everybody I've ever seen.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's definitely fair. Moving on to the unfortunate news that we've had within the past week. I'll start with the one that, is unfortunate but doesn't hit me as much as the other one. So, Ricky Pearsall got shot in an attempted robbery in San Francisco. The season was getting right around the corner. We were just getting ready to start, and it's unfortunate, man. I was never a big Ricky Pearsall guy going into the draft and all. I thought he really only had one highlight, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who it is. That happening is just horrible.
Yeah, glad that he's okay. Glad. I don't think I haven't heard any news if he is coming back for week 1, if he's going to be ready or not.
He's working out again now,
exactly,
which is good.
I think they said he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, I believe, is what I read.
Yeah, so good for him that he is okay.
I feel like the bullet wound would last longer than 4 weeks.
Well, Brian Robinson Jr. was
out the year, right?
No, he wasn't out the year because it was his rookie year. He was out 6 to 8 weeks when he got shot.
All right.
And he came back and he didn't. It looked like he was a rookie, so he was still fighting off his rookie jitters and stuff like that. But he still had a good year. So hopefully this gunshot, I don't know where he got shot at, but hopefully it doesn't affect him long term at all.
I'm gonna assume the upper chest is what it sounded like when I was reading into it. For the other part of unfortunate news, Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau got hit by a drunk driver and killed Thursday night, I believe it was, right? It was Thursday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were in New Jersey, real South Jersey. They were getting ready for their sister's wedding the next day, and Matthew, the brother, was supposed to be having a kid too soon. And it's just unfortunate, man. I know, like, there's been a lot of support for it. I've been looking at, like, the GoFundMe to see if I've seen, like, other players, and I've seen some real good names on there donating, like, over $1,000. My mom wants to donate to the family still. One of my best friends actually knows both Johnny and Matthew. He's known both of them since they were in college. So it's real unfortunate, man. Johnny was a great guy. He was looked up to by a lot of South Jersey. A lot of Philly people love Johnny. You know, he was Johnny Hockey for a reason. I always adored watching Johnny on Calgary. So it just sucks, man. It actually hurts so bad. And I wasn't a Calgary fan. I wasn't a Columbus fan. I was just a Johnny fan. You know, and shout out to his brother too. I know his brother wasn't very known, but I'm glad that the GoFundMe is doing really well for his brother. And I hope that Columbus pays off the rest of Johnny's salary in respect to the family. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
it's just really upsetting. I mean, for those of you that don't know, like obviously we are all Temple students, so we're like really in the area that he was a big deal in the Philly area and South Jersey, and he helped a lot around here with youth hockey and that kind of stuff. His brother is a coach actually at a local high school. So it's just it's really upsetting, and it always is just horrible when you hear about these incidents, and especially because they didn't do anything wrong. They were just on their bikes on the side of the road. So yeah, really unfortunate, and he'll be missed a lot.
Yeah, and shout out to the leagues that I saw, like the MLB for one. I know every single
the
game I've
Cleveland
watched over
Guardians were one of
Yep.
them.
Every single game I watched. I went to the Phillies game on Friday, and every single MLB game that I watched this
The
weekend.
the Phillies put something
Yep,
up on the screen?
Yep,
Yeah.
they did. Everybody did a moment of silence from what I saw, and it's just great to see like the sports community come together and just like really like moralize and miss these guys who definitely changed the sport that they played in.
Yeah, because I feel like the last time we really had a moment like this, like where it affected me as much as it has, was Kobe.
Yeah.
Realistically, was when everybody came together. Was Kobe.
And of course, like earlier this year, we lost Kareem Jackson as well with I believe Kareem Jackson with the Vikings, third round, fourth round draft. Kyrie Jackson. You're right. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kyrie Jackson, and we lost him as well. So it sucks that it happens, man. It shouldn't never happen.
Yeah, I know. A few years back, we lost Dwayne Haskins too. That one actually affected me pretty bad too. Moving on to the brighter side of things, we got our player of the week. I know you guys know who I'm picking. So does that mean I have to start it off since everybody already knows?
Since you offered.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Over the weekend, I had the pleasure of hanging out with my uncle. He does drag racing for, as kind of like a side gig, hobby type thing. I've been to a good amount of his races. It's not like a racetrack like you guys might think, though. It's literally just straight strip, 2 cars aligned. Whoever gets a better time wins, right? So congrats to my uncle. He actually won when I went. The other guy went when it was red, so we got disqualified. Pretty funny. It's a good time, though, when we're there. Everybody, we grill, we hang out, we have a good time. And there's been a few times where my parents have went And it seems like every time they would go and I never went, Fletcher Cox would be there. And every time I would go, he wouldn't be there. And his truck would always be there that says Cox Racing on it. To give a little backstory before I show what I came home with, he actually lost a lot of weight and I didn't recognize him at first. So I was actually curious why. And one of the cool things is since his retirement now, he decided to lose some weight because obviously he has his own race car company, but he never raced the car. He actually had somebody else race the car, and he was putting a car together. I know everybody in here should know this name, but Gold Dust, the wrestler, he had a car named after him, and actually him and his brother put the car together. But remember, his brother passed away. So because of that, he's trying to lose some weight to be able to race for his brother. So this is the picture of me and him. Had a great time meeting him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I came really lucky enough to come back with this.
Wow.
As you can see, he wrote Super Bowl champs on it. Great guy. Really enjoyed that. I also want to give a quick shout out real quick since after I got done one of my classes today, I saw it and it's really funny. And I know Jake and Gabe might not care about it as much as me and Ben might, but it's really funny. Shout out to Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, and Mylotta for coming out with a third Christmas album this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like they're running out of songs.
No, never.
No.
They'll make new songs.
Yeah,
I know neither of you like the Eagles, but you love their Christmas music,
yeah, their
don't
Christmas
you?
album's awesome. Touching on the base of like how much weight Fletcher Cox lost, I feel like it's pretty common for bigger athletes to shed down and really lose weight after they retire, because I know a good example, CC Sabathia, former Yankees pitcher. He was really huge and big when he played, but that's because he even explained it, because he's very open about his weight loss journey. He explained it to where you get so used to playing at a certain weight that you feel like if you gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight, then you're going to end up changing the way you play. So players like to keep around the same weight that they are used to playing with. Also, like, teams tell you to like get to a certain weight and stay there. And so after they retire, they don't have those restrictions anymore and they don't have to worry about playing anymore. So they usually just lose a lot of weight and end up not really worrying about muscle because they don't have to worry about playing anymore.
You know, I'm going to say this too. For as big of a name player as he is, I'm shocked there was nobody really going up to him or anything.
I think it's like you said, you didn't recognize him. I know when you sent the photo into our group chat, I instantly thought it was Andre Drummond because of the beard and also because of how tall he was. And I'm just like, I don't like, Andre Drummond's cool, but like he's not as big as Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I also saw though later that day he went and like somebody was offering him to come hang out with them, and he went and sat down and ate dinner with them, which was kind of cool. I also wanted to bring up a question real quick. It's just a yes or a no. Honest opinions here. After, seeing Fletcher Cox's full career through, I did the stats. I looked through all the stats. He's definitely the second best D tackle of his generation besides Aaron Donald. So does that mean he makes the Hall of Fame?
I think he does.
I've had this conversation with my dad, and it's gonna be an interesting one in a few years. I think honestly, it is entirely possible just due to the fact that like you said, like, no offense to like the era, but it wasn't that strong of a defensive like tackle era. Like you got him, you got Calais Campbell is going to be a Hall of Famer. So I think personally, like,
he's got a Super Bowl to back it up.
Yeah, I think personally he should be. I'd give it like a 65% chance.
I think I have a good comparison to him. Do you think Vince Wilfork is a Hall of Famer?
Oh, no, Fletcher Cox is better than Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, but I think he is the most similar type player.
I don't think Vince Wilfork is, because I don't think he had as sustained long of a career. Because I think, like, at times, like, for a good 3 years or so, Fletcher Cox was, like, right behind Aaron Donald, who's literally one of the best defensive players of all time at the defensive tackle position. So I don't know. That would definitely be a good debate to have.
I think the Eagles definitely retire his number. I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
definitely
100%. That's not a debate, but it just all depends on if we think he's going to go in the Hall of Fame round. Just give me a yes or no. I'm going with yes. Yes.
I'm going with
Ben,
yes. I'm going
Jake?
with yes.
I think yeah, I think he'll get it.
The real
Gabe?
question is Nick Foles a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely
if you're the
not.
second best of your generation, I think that's.
All right.
And
Yeah,
also football the way that football and basketball do their Hall of Fame.
So different.
Everybody makes the Hall of Fame in basketball. Bro.
Everybody makes the Hall of Fame in basketball, and then in
They
football,
call it, what do they call it? The Hall of Very Good or something like
yeah,
that?
because
It's like-
baseball has
Yeah.
the best Hall of Fame as of like the I don't know how to like word it, but like they have the most like sacred Hall of Fame, and then football, it's like mostly like almost every good player gets in, but there's
think-
still a couple of tough ones.
I think football is in my opinion, the best. I think they get it the most right. Yeah,
Fair.
that's just my opinion, but I don't
Mhm.
know. I just hate the way baseball does it. It's like really, it's like a lot of.
Do you think
I don't know.
do you think it's too hard to make it?
We know Ben's opinion on the Royd era.
Yeah, I mean, look, like everybody was doing.
Save
like,
it for another time,
anyway,
though.
yeah. Can I do my player of the week
Who's-
though? I want to go.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So obviously, college football started up this weekend.
Which
Sadly,
we will be touching on right after the
Yes.
players of the week.
Yes.
Go on though.
I'm gonna touch on one player. I'm gonna talk about the whole game though, because it adds context. Penn State goes down to West Virginia. A lot of people were telling me, "Oh, West Virginia is gonna pull the upset. Oh, they're gonna cover the
Can
spread."
I give a quick shout out real quick?
Yeah,
I
go
hate
ahead.
this guy with every bone in me, but when Pat McAfee said, "Yo, if you make this shot right now, I'll pay for this dude's tuition," and Deuce
Oh,
McBride
yeah.
hit practically
Deuce
a half
McBride.
court, that was nasty.
Yes, sir. Deuce McBride's
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
I hate
Yeah,
everything about Deuce McBride.
That's because he
but,
killed.
like,
He
that
that's
was
because he
nasty.
killed you in the playoffs. That's why.
I don't
Our-
care. We're coming back.
me and Gabe have a good friend named Sam who is his title is he is college football. That's what he says because he hit 6 bets this weekend out of 7 on college football, which is very impressive. But the only one he didn't hit was he said West Virginia was going to cover Penn State, and I was like, "You're insane! You just don't know this Penn State football team." I'm gonna talk about my player of the week is Drew Aller. A lot of people, he got a lot of hate last season, and rightfully so. He was horrible, but it was a lot to do with his offensive coordinator. They bring in a new offensive coordinator, the former Kansas offensive coordinator. Kansas has been one of the best offensive teams in the country that people don't even talk about over the last few years. Drew Aller comes in, only throws 17 balls, but 11 for 17, 216 yards, 3 touchdowns, a QBR of 98. Incredibly impressive. Penn State is going to run the ball a lot this year. And honestly, West
True.
Virginia, we don't know what they're going to be, but last season they made a bowl game. A lot of people were picking West Virginia to win this game. So I think it's a good look. And Penn State, outside of Drew Aller, which all credit to him, he played exceptional, has a really easy schedule. They only play their hardest games. They have only 3 games I could see them losing at USC.
Michigan.
They don't play Michigan this year.
Really?
Yeah, at USC,
Hmm.
at home versus Ohio State, and then at home versus Washington. Outside of that, every other team in their schedule they should honestly just destroy. Maybe at Wisconsin. That could be a difficult game.
So they're just.
Are
gonna
you
make the
only
playoffs,
saying Wisconsin due to Darian Varner?
I mean, people
guy.
like to say Wisconsin's good. My cousin went there, so I'm not going to trash talk Wisconsin, but Penn State should beat them. If Penn State does not make the college football playoff this year, I'm going to say it right now. I
do it.
will buy
show
a
up.
Tennessee I will buy a Tennessee
Will
Titans
Levis.
jersey. I will
Will
buy a Will
Levis.
Levis jersey.
Yeah, it's got to be a Will Levis jersey.
If Penn State does not make the college football playoff, I am committing
All right,
to
no,
right now.
Let's add on to it. If they
I'm
don't
not gonna
make
add
the
on to that.
playoffs, you have to buy a Will Levis jersey and drink a cup of coffee with mayo
Actually, I like
on the
that.
pod.
I like
On the pod. Yes, on the pod.
on the pod.
I will do that. If I will say right now, if Penn
I'm
State
rooting for Penn State to
Yeah,
lose.
Somebody's got to keep track of all of our bets because we're slowly starting to make bets.
Yeah,
that
I don't know why I'm
like-
I don't know why I'm sticking. I didn't go into the segment thinking I was going to do this, but I'm really
It's too
high
late
on this
now.
Penn
It's
State
already
team.
out there.
All right.
Yeah,
Jake
I'm committing to
and
it right now.
Gabe, who's going next?
I could definitely go.
Go ahead.
Go
So,
for it.
I had a couple names tossing up for my player of the week, and I actually just thought of mine about like 15 minutes ago because coming into this, my first thought was CeeDee Lamb because even though he's a rival, he just got paid, and
Oh, yeah,
he
I forgot
also
about that
is
during the
the
news, too.
the number one pick for my fantasy draft. Not the one that we did on the pod, the one that I do with my buddies back at home. He was my number one pick because I had the number 2 overall pick.
Sam.
But then I was going to choose Peyton and Eli Manning because I don't know if you guys saw, but on Instagram, they posted themselves doing a Manning cast musical, which was hilarious. If you haven't
Wait.
seen it,
Are you
then
about to go with Archie Manning?
I'm not about to go with Archie Manning. No.
Oh, it would have been sick.
But shout out to their nephew too, Arch Manning. He got his first career touchdown. It was sick. But then 15 minutes ago, I was like, this is great because we didn't touch base on this at all. My player of the week is Malik Neighbors. Shout out to my autograph because I last pod I pulled him. I got the autograph.
Wasn't he your player of the week last pod?
He might have been, and he's back to back because
back-to-back player of the week.
Trevor Plouffe was my player of the week last time. So Malik Neighbors, because he is officially changing his number to number 1, which
really
the
like
significance of that jersey is first he's already getting people to unretire their numbers for him, so that he's got to have a good career. If he doesn't, then I'm gonna be extremely upset. And number 2, the significance of that jersey is, I forget his first name, but it's Flaherty, who is the first ever player to get their number retired in NFL history. So that's got some big significance for Malik Neighbors to be changing his number and wearing that one. So shout out Malik Neighbors, man. Hopefully it's a good career.
Interesting. Well, Gabe, it's your turn.
All right. My player of the week. Listen, there's some great stuff going on in Queens, New York right now, especially in American men's tennis. We got Francis Tiafoe, who's actually playing right now in the men's quarterfinal. Taylor Fritz made the semifinal, but we're not going tennis. We're going football. And you guys are gonna be a little confused by this. It's AJ Brown, my player of the week.
Whoa.
Okay, so let me explain real quick. All right, Ben and I have a league that we're in for fantasy football for our fraternity.
Is he just your first round pick?
It's a 12-man league. I'll get to that. It's a 12-man league.
This league is the most psychotic league you will ever see. We make so many trades. It's so dumb. It's actually so dumb.
It's a crazy league. So how we decided the draft order is our regional advisor. We gave him the list of people. We thought he was just going to decide. He gave it to his fiance, who doesn't know any of us except for our president and vice president, I think. So she just lists an order and then forgets about me. So I'm last place. I'm picking 12th, right? Goodness. I'm like, I'm literally in a bad mood the entire day. I'm like, there goes. I forget how much money I put into it, but it's down the drain at this point, right? So I'm like, all right, let's just, you got to draft. You never know what could happen, especially in this league. AJ Brown, I get him at 12, and I'm like, you know what?
And who'd you go at 13?
Yeah, who's your second?
I think I went Kyren Williams.
That's good. That's a good one.
Go on.
So I got AJ Brown at 12. And I'm like, you know what? I'm the only Giants fan in this league of Eagles and 2 Steelers fans. So let's see what I can do with it. I ended up trading him almost immediately.
Oh, wow.
So I got Jameson Williams, DeAndre Swift, and Cooper Kupp. I don't know why I started with Jameson Williams. It probably confused you. But
yeah. There's more to add to this.
And then I keep trading to the point that I was like a 5 or 6 point underdog going into week 1. I'm now at 50-50. My team is looking solid. I picked 12th. We're looking good.
What did you make another trade? Wait, did you make another trade or was it just the only trade?
Me and Gabe made a trade actually.
Oh, I made like 5 trades.
Oh
what was the trade that you two did?
Looking like now? I'm confused.
So I can tell you the team right now. So I got Anthony Richardson at quarterback, which I don't really like, but it is what it is.
I like it.
He'll do good for you.
My 2 running backs are Kyren Williams and Alvin Kamara.
Wow.
I have DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors, Dalton Schultz, Brandon Ayuk. I just picked up Seattle defense. I have Jets defense, but I picked up Seattle because of the matchup this week. And then I have Moody at kicker. I also have Mostert. I have Mostert on the bench. I have Devin Singletary on the bench. Blake Corum just in case something happens.
Yo, Ben, how
So-
did you let him do this?
My
So
team is
I-
looking alright.
This sounds like he's gonna win the league. The 12 man.
no,
Hold
I
on.
don't.
No, let's not go there.
You know,
His bench
though,
is for number one. I want to say his bench is really weak. He has a really
Okay.
weak bench. He doesn't
I
have any
had a
depth.
very strong bench and I traded it. I only have running backs now.
you know, though,
Exactly. So you gotta keep that into account. Like if he gets injuries, he's gonna be
I had
pretty.
Mostert off the bench though. He's not bad.
guys, I
Singletary's a
feel like
starter.
I feel like my team and my 14 man looks better.
And okay, so I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the trade that
Yeah, let me hear it real quick, and then
Yeah.
I'll say my team.
I'll hold up. I gotta pull it up real quick.
You forget already?
Yeah, this guy.
I just want to make sure
his
it was a. I just want to make sure I say it correctly.
Man, you guys trade right
I'm the-
away. I'm a big proponent of like who I trade. I
No,
usually
no,
don't make
this,
trades.
This one guy in our league always makes a ton of trades. So this year we were like, we're all just gonna go all
We
in.
knew what we were going into.
Yeah.
Damn, I was
so-
gonna say because usually my team I usually keep
First
it
of all-
until nothing.
First of
happens.
all, my team name is probably the best. It's the Double Chunk Chocolate Cookies.
Nice.
What the man?
And then
What the-
so me and Gabe, I traded Gabe, Devin Singletary, Malik Neighbors, and I got James Conner and Jamison Williams. Call me crazy.
Mm,
Wait, Jameson Williams?
I like
Yeah.
that. Sounds like
I
you lost
needed
the trade.
I needed
then.
a solid starting wide
I needed a
receiver.
running back too. Malik Neighbors, I wasn't really. It was
Who's
making
the
me
running
nervous.
back
Alright.
that Gabe traded? Who's the running back that Gabe traded?
I
No,
traded
James
James Conner,
Conner.
but I also had DeAndre Swift at the time. So
I don't think James Conner is that big of an upgrade to Devin Singletary.
I think so. I just worry your guys' offensive line. I'm just.
Well, I'm not starting Singletary.
I know, but at the same time,
Yeah.
our offensive
I
line is
was.
gonna be okay
I
this
thought
year.
James Conner, even if he was a slight upgrade, and then I got, I had two good wide receivers already. So
Okay, that's fair.
Jake,
I
Yep.
just trade well.
I'm gonna tell you my team, and you tell me if you think my 14 man league team's better than Gabe's, because I think
Alright.
mine is better.
Jalen
I'm
Hurts
Joe.
quarterback. You got
Yeah,
Saquon
let's go
already.
position
It's
by
just gonna
position.
go
You got
down the
you have
game, so.
Jalen Hurts. You said? Who's
no.
your
I'm
Gabe
saying
QB?
your
Richardson.
entire team is gonna look like the Eagles.
No,
roster.
no, Gabe. Who's your quarterback?
Oh, I have Anthony Richardson.
Okay,
What
I
pick
would
did
take.
you have,
I
Chris?
would take.
This will judge as well. What pick did you have in
8.
this 14?
Yeah, you had a
Oh.
higher pick than I had.
Hold on,
That's a
though.
weird one.
I had Joe Burrow. Would you rather have Joe Burrow or Anthony Richardson?
Joe Burrow this year.
Okay.
Maybe.
I got Derrick Henry and
Okay.
Josh Jacobs.
Okay, that's a good.
I have the better
Nasty
RB2.
duo.
I definitely have the better RB2.
Yeah, I agree.
I got
And honestly,
AJ
I like
Brown.
Kyron Williams over Derrick Henry as well.
I
Of
got
course you got
AJ
Brown.
AJ Brown
your
and
first round
Stephon
pick, wasn't he?
Diggs.
He was your
Bro,
first round
what are
pick,
they
wasn't
letting
he?
you do in this
Yeah.
league? How is that possible? No,
AJ
no,
and
chill out for
Stephon.
a second. What are the other
Hold
teams
on.
just picked up random? Is Tim
Hold on,
Tebow
I'm
playing
not
like
done
starting
yet.
quarterback for one of the other teams? Like, what's
I'm
going
not
on
done
there?
yet. There's reasoning behind this. He's only playing for the first few games because my tight end is currently hurt, but I have Cole Kmet starting right now.
Over.
Terrible.
That's
Cole
because
Kmet should be a starter in a 14-man league though. He
yes,
should be a
but he's
starter.
only
Okay.
starting at the moment for me because DJ Hawkinson's hurt.
That's crazy.
I have Keenan Allen. I have Adam Thielen. I'm running with
God.
the Falcons defense. I love their secondary this year. Cameron Dicker. And then I also have Nick Chubb on my bench, so I'm waiting for him to come back.
Damn.
And then I
How
got
does this happen?
I got Gus Edwards. Baker Mayfield's my backup QB. I got Luke McCaffrey. And for now, he's probably not gonna get used and he might get dropped. I just want to see what he does. But I have Will Shipley. Just in case he winds up surpassing Kenny G. In case.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Well, I guess since we're sharing teams, I can go quickly through my team that I have with my home friends. I had the number 2 overall pick. I did not do my
How
fantasy
many-
punishment
How
over the
many people in
weekend.
league?
There's 10 people in the league. It's a 10-man.
Okay.
And I came second to last year after winning the championship the year before. But I made a bet with a last place team. Whoever loses the last week has to do the punishment, and I lost the last week. So my QB is Jordan Love. Running backs are Derrick Henry and Kyron Williams. My receivers are
Ooh.
Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb. Tight end is George Kittle. Flex is Tank Dell. Defense, Falcons. Kicker, Shooter McPherson. And then some big guys on my bench. I was able to draft both Nick Chubb and Jonathan Brooks. So I'm gonna be a powerhouse by the time it's week like 8. And my number 1 running back off the bench is Ramondre Stevenson. Backup QBs Jared Goff, and my backup receivers are JSN and Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I'll throw this out there too. If Will Shipley, what? How many people's in his?
How are you feeling about Devontae?
Oh,
Devontae. I think Devontae is a great number 2 option. When I made the pick, everybody in the room was like, "Oh, he doesn't have a quarterback. Oh, he's old." But at the same time, last year he also didn't. He has a better quarterback than he did last year, and Gardner Minshew, and he still had over 1,000 receiving yards. I think he still had over like 6 or 7 touchdowns. And I just don't see him. Of course, he's going to eventually slow down. I just don't see him slowing down this year. So I like him as my number 2 receiver.
I'm glad you brought him up. Shout out to our website. I'm going to have an article uploaded either tonight or tomorrow on my top 10 wide receivers for the NFL season. And he is actually my honorable mention right outside the top 10.
Wow.
So, moving on, though, to the next segment. We're going to touch base on some college football, guys. Then we'll go into the NFL for the last segment. But I'll start off with, we'll each just pick a game, make it better that way. I'm going to go with my favorite football team, that's not Temple, since I give up on Temple every year. Because yet again, guys, we suck. And Stan Drayton
don't talk about my game.
We will suck
until
Stan Drayton leaves. We will suck until Stan Drayton leaves.
Or until we get a quarterback. Forrest Brock is
Spoiler, maybe the fans don't know what the score was, dude. Me and Gabe were going to talk about that game.
Have fun with that. I don't even really want to be a part of it.
Kentucky and Alabama, but,
I really don't want to be anything part of that. So with my actual college football team, let's go Dogs, baby. Shutting down Clemson like it's nothing.
Yeah, I watched that game. Shout out Carson Beck.
Wow.
He was on fire.
Nate Frazier.
I got 5 words to tell you. Malachi Starks, you are him.
The only problem, though, Chris, is like you guys got shut down the first half. You only scored, 7 or 10 points in the first half?
We had like 10 points, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Clemson's
last year,
a good school though. I know,
and last year the past couple
was
years,
it like 6-0 at the half or something like that?
Yeah, because Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you always face Clemson week 1 for like the past couple years, and it's always been like a big.
You want to know a crazy?
Year, this is the first year where it was like a blowout, and it didn't become a blowout until the second half.
You want to know a crazy stat?
Yeah,
I think if I read it correctly, that I saw Georgia in a game since like 1991. That's crazy. Georgia owns Clemson, yo. Like that is nuts.
What teams aren't Georgia owning though? Like Georgia owns most of the FBS.
Fair, and guess what?
Yeah, nobody's beating Georgia right now.
Yeah.
When it comes soon, I have it written down. September 28th. Right? September 28th. I'm gonna be going crazy when we get our revenge on Alabama. We're coming for Bama, and they're gonna get smoked. Jalen Milroe, you suck. You suck. That's why you're not even going to be the first quarterback taken in the draft. Shedeur Sanders is over you. Get out of here.
Going to take Shedeur over Jalen Milroe? Well, I guess that's over Jalen Milroe. Are they going to take Shedeur like that high?
Yeah, Shedeur's probably going to go one, followed by Travis Hunter.
People keep mocking, what's his face, Shedeur Sanders to the Giants with the number 1 overall pick. But I'm sorry, the Giants aren't having the number 1 pick.
Are we getting the number 1 overall pick?
No, we're not getting the number 1 overall pick. People are so delusional.
You still might get a top 5 pick.
Just because Joe Shane went to Colorado State's game does not mean we're going to be able to draft.
Yeah, but you could still get a top 5 pick. And my thing here is...
When we trade up for it after we win a Super Bowl, then yes, we'll get a top 5 pick.
My thing here is, though, Jake, all the other bottom teams at the moment, besides maybe like 1 or 2, have quarterbacks at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's why you wind up still getting him at like 5.
But at the same time,
Jake, I don't know about you. I'm feeling Forrest Brock to the Giants in the first.
And then he wins MVP and then goes on a 7-year streak of winning the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Trash. Yeah, no, that was really fun though to watch Georgia.
Do you know what I find
on Clemson?
Do you know what I found really funny through week 1 of college? All of the big teams that played like FBS
Played small
schools,
teams mostly.
yeah, they paid them so much money. Like if
Yeah.
I can try to pull it up,
Temple made a bag.
Did we?
yeah. How much did Temple get
I'm
paid
looking
by
it up right
Oklahoma?
now.
I don't know. I didn't see the number public anywhere, but I believe it was around 1.5 million.
Really?
That's insane for one football game just to get blown out is crazy.
I don't know. I saw that number somewhere floating around, but I don't know if it's for this game and the game next year.
Okay, I
or
got
it's
some numbers. So Western Kentucky got paid $1.9 million to face Alabama, which is crazy that the big teams pay the small teams. That's crazy to me.
Well,
I feel like
it's
the-
it's
I feel like the
because
small
the
teams
big teams
are
need a
good.
warm-up game,
Yeah,
and
but I
otherwise
feel
the
like-
small teams wouldn't want to go get destroyed, you know?
I know, but I feel like the small teams, if anything, would have to pay them just to get the brand exposure. But Fresno State gets 1.85 million for facing Michigan. Akron gets 1.8 million for facing Ohio State. Colorado State gets 1.7 million to face Texas, which that's crazy, and 1.65 to UTEP for facing non-ranked Nebraska.
Yeah. All right.
Or Nebraska.
Who's next on picking a game to talk about?
I
went on
want to
about
discuss this
Georgia,
together.
so-
Do you
Yeah,
want to just go through this together?
So let's talk about a team that was going into it a favorite to win the national championship, the Temple Owls. Unfortunately, they lost by just a little bit, just 48 points. You know, not that much.
Wait, hold on, Ben. What was that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you with the point total. I just...
48 points. But
Let me just put this out there. It's fun when you like know teams and like you see betting lines that like maybe they, you know, I don't know how like the automated system works, but it just it doesn't feel right. Oklahoma was 42.5 point favorites. That just did not feel right to me. I thought we were losing by 50 plus. I put $50 on that. I hate betting against Temple. I hate it. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Sometimes
At least make
it's
money off it.
free
Don't be
money
careful
every
watching
time. It is
Not every
free
time.
money every
We have some
time until
interesting
Stan
matchups.
Drayton
I
is
think-
gone.
I think the military academies are definitely beatable every single year just because they run the same exact formation.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. Will
I
we
did
win
learn-
games this year? I don't know.
I
don't
did
think
learn
so.
that Navy, it did switch up their scheme this year, though. Their offensive formation is now a little bit, it's mostly option like they usually do, but then they're also throwing in some air raid offense this season.
You know
as
what,
well.
Jake? Then
right.
At least we have Army.
here's
At least we
here's
have Army.
I want to say one positive thing about Temple because honestly, and this is going to sound insane to the people that didn't watch this game and they're like, oh, Oklahoma put up 51 points. Defensively, I don't think Temple was honestly that bad.
Not at all.
was
Temple
mostly-
turned the ball over 4 times.
Yeah, it was
And-
Was
turnovers.
it 4? I thought it was more. I thought it was more than 4.
At least 4 times. Maybe it was only 4 times in the first half. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, only.
And
He's horrible.
shout out to, who was it? Dante Wright, who fumbled the ball twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, the team captain, unfortunately, he had a bad day.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, honestly,
6 times.
I don't think the defense
What are you?
was.
You can't expect a defense to do anything when you turn the ball over 6 times.
Honestly, getting 3 sacks against Oklahoma is pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, but like
Absolutely.
at the same time,
The defensive
the
line
same
did not
time,
look that bad.
turning the ball over 6 times is a Daniel Jones thing. Like just leave it to the Giants.
Hey, yo, we're talking about college football.
Didn't
What are you talking
Jalen
about?
Hurts once throw 3 picks against us? Am I recalling that correctly?
Whoa.
No,
I don't think even Danny Dimes would do that against us.
No, I'm
And
talking
he
about
would,
Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito.
Okay.
Jake,
Imagine
what's
running
your
Real quiet there.
game? Because there's really not much else to talk about that
Yeah.
disgusting,
Uh,
horrific game that I
just-
wish you never brought up.
Shout out to Texas. Arch Manning came into the game. I said it earlier. He got his first career passing touchdown, which was really nice, by the way.
It
He
was
kind of
nice.
he scrambled in front of the O line, but then like tippy toed on the line of scrimmage. And
You
then
know,
dumped it out to a flat, and then he ran it for the touchdown, and then he got a QB sneak touchdown. It's his first career rushing touchdown. It's going to be hard for him to not really get too much playing time behind their starter. But as long as they keep giving him reps, he's going to become a great player.
You know, I had a conversation with my cousin about him and stuff. My cousin was talking to me about it, and he was like, that kid gets to learn from debatably the two best brothers that ever played football.
Oh, no, they are. They 100% are the best
that's
brothers to ever play.
crazy to think about, that he gets to learn and get better and better each day behind both of them. He'll get a starting job soon, trust me.
So
and he gets to learn it behind Quinn Ewers, who he's also an NFL prospect.
Yeah, Ewers is great. Ewers is great.
So here's my question before we move on. Obviously, the last loss against Oklahoma, it didn't really show us a whole lot, but we do have Navy coming up this Saturday. How are we feeling about that? Because it's a completely different game when you're not 42.5-point underdogs. You're playing a team that you match up against. Gabe. It's possible.
I'll put it to you this way, Gabe. Unless if I'm doing photography on the game, I want nothing to do with it.
I think we're losing by a touchdown.
I think it'll be a close.
I think we're losing by 20.
It's really hard to take anything away from a team like Temple playing a team like Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
And what I took out of it was the defense is pretty. It looks like it's going to be a solid unit. And honestly, I don't know if Forrest Brock should continue start. I was kind of surprised that they didn't put in any other quarterbacks.
Me too.
I guess they're just showing.
I would send Forrest Brock to a high school team.
If you heard
Stan it was really bad.
If you heard Stan Drain's press conference, he said that Forrest Brock, even though he did struggle against Oklahoma, it was his first career start in college, and he also even though it was his first career start and he didn't look too well, he's facing a big school, and he also he said his IQ was there, so he was making the right throws. He just couldn't execute on.
I'm going to say this too.
With all due respect to Forrest Brock, he threw a punt. I don't know if you remember that.
I know exactly what you're talking about, unfortunately.
Shout out to Oklahoma with the fake punt as well, with the fake passing punt, the QB punt.
I'll say this before we move on to the next segment. Forrest Brock, you're probably a great guy. None of us in here hate you, so don't come after us. You should not play football.
I think it's all learning experience. I think he'll probably.
It's as simple as that. You just should not play football.
Would love to have you on the pod. Don't like.
I don't think he will after what we've been saying.
No. Look, it was his first game. Funny stat. The funniest stat of the week. Good segment idea. Stat of the week.
I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
His last game he had, there was 100 and some odd fans. This game, there were 60,100 fans. So that's a difficult task to go into, especially against a team that's competing for a national championship.
Also, going into this, we knew Temple wasn't going to do well. I mean, Oklahoma literally paid them to be there.
I expected Temple to win.
That's crazy.
Of course you did.
I still.
You sound like one of our fraternity brothers who just expects.
Moving on. Moving on, fellas. It's time for the fun part. NFL Week 1 predictions.
Woo!
Let's do it.
We start on Thursday.
2 days.
We start on Thursday with an absolute banger of a game, fellas. The Baltimore Ravens up against the lame Kansas City Chiefs losers.
So are we predicting scores as well, or just winner?
No.
Nah, just
winner, loser. Give it to me.
Wait.
Guys,
can I say something? Can I
say it real quick? Make it quick.
I want to keep track of our records throughout the season, and the loser should have to do something. But we can figure out what the loser has to do at some point.
I like that.
All right.
And how about this? To spice it up a little bit, we keep track of the NFL records. How about we choose like whatever the national game of the week is in college football, as well as the Temple game or something like that.
And how about this? MLB playoffs are coming up. We can predict those series as well.
We'll predict everything. We're going to predict
Keep coming back every week. We'll keep making predictions.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna be the jinxer, and hopefully I jinx this team. I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs just because I know I'm bad. I know I'm a mush. I hope they lose. So I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs because if they win, cool. I win the prediction. If not, great.
What I'm doing right now, by the way,
I don't think Patrick Mahomes loses first week either. I'm
I'm gonna complete or make a Google spreadsheet so we can keep track of all of our
Let's
picks
do
and
it.
all of our things. I won't share with you guys. We can do that after we're done filming this. But I'm just gonna keep
Ben,
track of my picks.
who
Go ahead. Somebody else
is
predict.
your pick, Ben?
I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
I love it. I'm just being a mush.
Yeah.
Being a mush. I want Kansas City to lose, so that's why I pick Kansas City.
Chris, am I crazy, or should Baltimore kind of be the favorites here? They're the
They
underdog right
should,
now.
realistically.
I don't.
But at the same time, like,
I think it's a
nah,
little
you know
crazy.
you know what, guys? I can't pick the Kansas City Chiefs. I gotta switch over. Like, I hate myself for even
No,
saying
too
it.
late. Too late. No, too
No,
late.
I'm switching
Can't do
over,
it.
Jake.
Switching
Jake,
picks
do it.
now. Okay.
Can't do
Jake,
it.
the
Already-
segment is not even over yet. I'm switching over.
So
I'm
give me-
switching over because a thought came into my head too, and the thought was the fact that the other day Derrick Henry said, "Damn, I wish I could have suited up for that Ravens Chiefs game." That's the first thought that just came to my head. You know what? Derrick Henry revenge game. He's gonna kill Patrick Mahomes. I don't care.
Damn.
Derrick Henry,
Alright.
3-touchdown game. Let's go.
Derrick
Give me
Henry
Baltimore.
5-touchdown game, not 3, baby.
Hey,
Let's
that,
ride.
That'd be great for my fantasy team. Let's do it.
Let's ride. Same with mine. Gabe, who is your pick?
It's crazy to me. I think the Ravens should be the favorites in this game, even if it's in Arrowhead. Give me Baltimore. Lamar Jackson.
Nice.
He's been
Okay.
talking about all the
Jake,
everything that's been going on.
Are
this
you
you
offseason.
a
It's gonna be good.
consensus here, Jake?
Jake, I feel like you
It's
cannot.
gonna-
We cannot go pick the Ravens.
Oh
Pick
well,
the Ravens, do it.
unfortunately, I'm picking the Ravens. I have to. It's
Oh
like,
no!
I was thinking about that. And
No.
now I don't know what the best way to do this on Google spreadsheet is. We'll figure it out afterwards. But so far, I put all of your predictions in for Ravens versus Chiefs to be the Ravens.
Okay.
So it's consensus. The Ravens
Moving
will win it.
on to the next game. The game of
I'll
the
start.
week.
I'll start.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. All right, you know what? Yeah, you two can
Yeah,
start
we
because
should
you're
go
Giants
last. Chris.
fans.
We should go last, Chris.
Packers versus Eagles. First ever game that
In
is
Brazil.
that is being played in Brazil, and the first ever game being played not in
Sao
America
Paulo.
for week 1. So very, very hyped about this. When it's played on Friday, which not gonna lie, killed a lot of my plans, but there's no way I'm missing this game. And I'll say 2 things. Number 1, every single time I feel like a team plays in a foreign country, that an upset happens. No
Oh.
matter what,
Oh,
teams do
God.
not always play well in foreign places. For every sport, look at baseball too. Baseball, crazy things happen when they move out of the country. Number 2, the Eagles do not play well when they're not in America. So give me the Packers.
Eagles don't play. Dude, we won in. I think we won in London the last time we played there, didn't we?
Gabe,
Let me
who
look
is
up
your
the
pick,
record.
Gabe?
I'm gonna be honest. First off, I'm not really a fan of the overseas games. Like
Neither
if
am
we
I.
really talked about coming to the United States, I'm not a fan of it. You're the National Football League, not the International Football League. I think you should be playing this in Philadelphia or in Green Bay. As for the
week 1,
game,
yeah.
first off, before I get to the game, one last point. Chris, I know you're a jersey guy. Those black and white jerseys, bro, I think
I don't mind it.
you might have to get one.
I don't mind it. I like it. I'll get
I
one
love
for
those helmets. I
Saquon.
think they're clean.
I'll get one for Saquon.
I would leave this podcast. I'm going Philadelphia. I think it's so weird. Like the line is so close, and maybe it's because it's in Brazil. I think the Eagles got this though. They're the
All
better
right.
team.
Wow,
Ben-
I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did
Ben,
that
I
to me.
think you and me gotta say it at the same time, Ben. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Please
Go
please
Birds,
go.
baby. Go Birds.
Go!
I mean,
Birds, baby.
And
we
I
ain't losing to the Packers, bro. Even when they had Aaron Rodgers, we used to beat up on the Packers
yeah,
still.
we
It's
we
not
always-
gonna happen with Jordan Love, with
Obvious-
Christian Watson, who had 400 yards last year. That ain't gonna happen around here.
Yeah.
Jaden
Christian Watson
Reed
was
can kick
hurt.
rocks.
Christian Watson was
Romeo
hurt.
Dobbs can kick rocks. Same with Josh Jacobs. It ain't
I'm-
happening around here, buddy.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. That line is really disrespectful to the Eagles.
That's
It
what I'm
is.
saying. I put money on the Eagles, which I
Listen,
hate
and
doing.
all
when I
I'm gonna
have
say
to.
is
On
all I'm
ESPN,
gonna
it's a
say is
2-point line. Like, what
the
is that?
amount
That's
of
crazy.
disrespect and the amount of underdogging that we're getting this season fuels me so much more.
I'm gonna say one more thing. I heard over the course of training camp and preseason that the Eagles are having a tough time picking up the blitz because Jason Kelsey is not there. So
I'll be
I'm
fine.
just saying Jalen Hurts needs to step up because Jason Kelce's entire career was the guy to change at the line the offensive schemes and the offensive line blocking calls. Jalen Hurts needs to step up, and if he doesn't, they're gonna have trouble. Because Saquon Barkley, Gabe probably knows this very well, doesn't know how to block. He doesn't know how to block, so Jalen Hurts have fun.
You know what he can do though? He can catch very well, so maybe that makes up for it.
Yeah,
and run very well too.
Yeah.
He can do a lot of things very well.
All right,
block.
this next one should be a consensus, guys. Saints Panthers. Let's be for real here. Saints are gonna win this game.
I'm going Panthers.
What?
Call me crazy.
You are not going Panthers.
Call me crazy.
You're lying.
Call me crazy. I'm going Panthers.
Crazy. You're crazy.
Give me the Saints. Gabe.
Yeah, give me New Orleans.
I'm also taking the Saints.
Okay, thank you. Next up.
Wait, can I ask Gabe or Ben why? Why are we going Panthers here?
I really like the hiring of their head coach. Really liked him in Tampa Bay as
you
their
really
offensive
believe
coordinator.
in the offense of Deontay Johnson and
I
Thielen?
believe in their offense. They have
I think their
solid depth at
offense
running
won't be
back.
their problem this year. I think the defense will. I think the defense
might be a problem, but honestly, like New
Defense
Orleans
is a
is really
huge problem.
New Orleans isn't all that good. Do any of you guys think New Orleans is going to make the playoffs? Because I certainly don't.
No,
they have
but
a
they're
chance
mid
because
every
they're-
year, and mid
I
is
think-
better than bad.
I think they have a chance to
Chris
make the
said, yeah.
playoffs only because I think they're going to go like 9-8 because their division's extremely weak.
And here, every year, there's a team that goes from last
I don't
place.
think their
in the
division's
division to
as
first
weak as you
place.
think.
Who do you think's the consensus best team in their division?
The Falcons, but I think Tampa's good too.
I think the Falcons, even though they're going to be good this year, are going to be overhyped because when a team makes that many moves, they usually don't do that well.
I think it's going to go Falcons,
I think
Tampa,
the
them, and
Falcons.
then the Panthers.
I think the Falcons are one of the best teams in the NFC. In my
Moving on to the next one, we have the Giants and Vikings, and I'm actually going to pick the Giants here.
I'm also
Don't.
picking the
No.
Giants.
The Giants D-line is going to trash.
No,
The Vikings
you're not
might-
allowed.
The
No,
Vikings
you're
may be
not
one of the
allowed.
worst teams
Stop.
in the NFL this year. I'm not going to lie. to you.
Stop. Are you guys actually
Chris,
picking the Giants?
Chris, is that a
Yeah.
jinx pick or is that like a legitimate pick?
Do either of you forget that I said the Giants were going to come second in the NFC East?
You did give us a winning record, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
9-8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I respect it.
I'm also picking.
I
the
had
Giants.
Dallas going 8-9. So
Oh, Jake, they just both picked. Oh my God, they just both picked Minnesota. I mean New York. We got to go Minnesota. One of us, right? Like, there's no way we can make this across the board.
Oh my God, dude! I
Do
hate
it
this
across
so
the
much.
board.
This is what's gonna happen. The Giants are gonna be a consensus all year because they're the best team in the NFL. But just because they're consensus, they're gonna lose every single game. That's what's gonna happen.
just make your prediction. Come on, we got
I'm
more
not gonna be
games
the one
to
to pick
predict.
Minnesota. I gotta stick with my Giants.
I'm gonna be the Michael Strahan of this podcast. I'm going the Giants every single week, and I don't care.
All right, thank
I
you.
respect that, honestly.
Next
I'm gonna
up,
go 17-0.
next up, guys. This one's also going to be a consensus, especially after the loss of Matthew Judon. Patriots, Bengals. Give me the Bengals, easy money.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't even need to spend time talking about that one. All Bengals.
All right, this next one's a fun one. Steelers, Falcons.
I'm taking the Patriots. No, I'm joking.
Steelers, Falcons. And guess what, guys? I love this Falcons team, truly, but I'm going to go Steelers.
I was thinking the same thing. I think this Falcons
I'm
team
going to go
is getting way
Steelers.
too much hype.
Mike
We haven't seen them
Tomlin,
play yet.
that defense. Give me the
Here's the thing,
Steelers. They find a way to win these games.
Here's the thing.
Wins.
Do you guys know who the Steelers' new offensive coordinator is?
No,
Yep.
but the Steelers also started
Arthur
off strong
Smith.
in the beginning
The
of the
former
year.
Falcons head,
Oh.
the former Falcons head coach who did not know how to coach on offense. I'm
And
going
famous-
the Atlanta Football Falcons.
Thank you, Ben. And famously, Arthur Smith doesn't know how to use his weapons. He uses them more as decoys than actual weapons. And for the sake of my fantasy team as well, because the Falcons are my defense, I'm going with the Falcons. I don't think
I think the
Russell
Steelers
Wilson.
make this game close though, and they always start
Oh,
off strong in the
absolutely.
beginning of the year.
I think Russell Wilson, even though he's going to have a bounce back year compared to last year, I still think he's going to struggle week one. It's a new team. He has to learn an entire new offense. I
Well,
think he's
wait,
going to
was he
struggle
named the
week one.
starter yet?
Yeah,
He
he
was,
was named the team
Okay,
captain.
okay.
And yeah, he was a
Yeah.
team
So-
captain as well.
I'm picking
Yeah.
Steelers. Gabe, you're going Steelers,
I'm gonna go Steelers.
and you two are going Falcons.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next game, this one's probably going to be a consensus too. Texans Colts. I'm going Texans.
Texans.
This is really hard for me.
Ben, no, it's not. Get out
I'm a
of here,
huge
dude.
fan
Get
of
out of here.
Indianapolis, but
So
I
am
gotta
I,
see,
but no way.
Actually,
I can't pick Anthony Richardson
Gabe,
this week because I gotta
what?
see. I gotta see what his arm's looking like. I'm really worried about what his arm is gonna look like
Jake,
this season.
Texans.
I'm going Texans. I'm going Texans. I'm not.
It
picking
looks
Texans.
like we have another consensus. I'm going Texans.
Gabe, wait, well, hold on though, because Gabe started questioning it. Are you gonna go Texans or like?
I'm going Texans, but I think I was never that big on Anthony Richardson because he didn't have team success in college. But I see where the hype is. That's
Alright.
it. I'm going Houston
I
Texans.
think he's going to
Um,
be a great player.
This
but-
next one's fun for me. Cardinals, Bills. I don't care what you guys say. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm also
Ooh.
I'm also taking the Cardinals.
Am I missing
Wow.
something? What happened?
The Bills lost
Patrick
half their
Peterson just
team.
come
That's
out?
what you're missing.
I think the Bills are missing the playoffs. I think they're going to have a new head coach next year.
the Bills are
don't-
coming third in their division.
The Bills had a horrible offseason. They did not improve at all. They just got
Horrific.
X.
They
Okay,
lost both
so-
safeties. They lost their starting corner. They lost their starting center. They lost their wide receiver one. They lost their everything.
So-
Everything.
I think now before you guys said your answer, I was going to go Cardinals because I believe they're going to upset the Bills because I still think the Cardinals are underdogs in this game.
And what? Now
but-
you're switching teams?
I am going to switch teams because it's boring if we constantly keep doing the consensus. And I
Well,
think the
wait
Bills.
a second. I'm
the-
not. I'm
Oh,
going
hey.
Buffalo.
Awesome. Cool. My explanation for going Buffalo is now I was about to argue against Buffalo, but I'm going to argue for Buffalo now. I think after having a terrible offseason, we can all agree they had a terrible offseason. They got rid of their best players. They didn't sign the guys they needed to. They didn't sign anyone, I don't think.
No, they signed one person that I can think of.
Who?
Taylor Rapp.
They're not a bad pickup. And then they lost Matt Milano again. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
Sucks.
that one too.
He's a great player. He's out for, I believe, the year once again, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to argue for the Bills and say that even though they had a terrible offseason, Josh Allen and the Bills are going to show that they're still a powerhouse in the league and they're going to destroy the Cardinals.
All right. And
don't
Gabe,
know
you
about
also
this
said
one.
Bills, right?
I don't know about destroy the Cardinals. I think it could be a close game, but I think they'll. Yeah,
Next.
I still got Buffalo.
Next up, this one should be an easy consensus. Titans, Bears. I'm going with the Bears.
Yeah, Bears.
I'd be
Well,
pretty shocked
wait a
if one of you
second.
guys
Ben,
says
Ben might
Titans.
have something else to say here, Chris.
No, I'm going Bears. Look, I think Tennessee is a really underrated team. I think offensively they have a lot of solid weapons. The running back
Defensively, they're
rooms.
getting better.
Yeah, they're a young and
Both.
up and coming team. And I think I said this in the season predictions. I think next year they could be really good, but this year I think they're going to
Who's
struggle a bit.
Who's their coach this year? Because they got rid of Mike Vrabel.
I don't know.
Let me look.
Is it Ben Johnson?
No, I don't think he left.
No.
I'm guessing Ben Johnson. That's my
No, I don't think he left.
I don't think he
Brian
left
Callahan.
either.
That's right.
Oh,
Brian.
Callahan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right,
solid
so
hire. That's a solid
I
hire.
said the Bears. Ben said the Bears. Jake, are you going Bears?
Honestly, yes. I think they're not going
Gabe?
to have as good of a win as as people think they are. I think they're going to have a rough start just because everything's new for them. But I still think they're going to have a good
Gabe,
year.
are you going Bears?
I'm taking Chicago. Let me just add something real quick. The New York Mets are now tied with the Atlanta Braves in the standings.
Whoa!
Can I give a baseball update real quick too with the Fighting Phils?
Go
We went
on.
down 6-0 to start the game, and we're now down 7-8, top of the 8th. The Phillies are
Oh.
batting with a runner on first and second, and no outs.
Cool. Can I also
Nice.
give a baseball update real quick? Because I have the Yankees.
Oh my
on next
God,
week.
guys! This is supposed to be a football
Let's start.
segment.
Anthony Volpe just got a base hit. The Yankees are down 1-0 in the top of the seventh. Jose Leclerc is up, and it's runners on first and second, no outs.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Next up, Jacksonville versus Miami. Give me the Dolphins. Dolphins are
Yeah.
taking that division this year, yo.
Give me the-
Tyreek.
Give me the Dolphins at home. Give me the Dolphins at home, 100%.
Gabe, Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm sticking Miami.
Jake.
Wow, another consensus. Dolphins. This is great
It's-
content, guys.
Guys, I mean, we just know football. That's how it is.
Yeah.
This next one's going to be a consensus, too, so get ready to write it down, Jake. Broncos, Seahawks. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, also give me the Seahawks. The Broncos stink.
I saw something on Instagram today.
Let me
and
guess.
it
It's
said-
Bo Nix.
it's like no, it was like ESPN or somebody posted it, and it was like a whole series of like, don't be surprised if this happens.
Oh,
It said,
I
don't be
see that.
surprised if the Broncos have an amazing passing offense, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Give
that
me
was the
Seattle.
same thing. There
I'm
was
not
one
counting out
other-
Bo Nix yet, but I'm
There
not.
was
expecting
one
anything.
other thing on that post that I can't remember, Gabe, that was like real stupid.
I could not
did it.
remember anything else just because that amazed me. I'm not counting out Bo Nix yet. I'm just saying, like, who knows? what
Next
that-
up, we got this is.
Wait, I didn't do mine.
oh,
yet. I didn't do my
what's
prediction.
what's your pick?
It's the Seahawks.
Next up, we got the Raiders and the Chargers. This is a tough one.
It is.
This is a matchup, but you know what? I love Devontae Adams. I love Max Crosby, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers just for Justin Herbert.
Wow.
I'm gonna look. I think the Chargers.
I like Christian Wilkins too, though.
I think the Chargers are going to disappoint, but I think I made my prediction. I think there's a certain wide receiver on the Vegas Raiders who isn't going to be on that team in 4 or 5 weeks. So I got to pick the Chargers, even though I don't really like it at all. Like I could definitely see certain Devontae Adams. He's going to get traded this year, but
I believe that too, but not that early.
Where's he
I-
getting traded to?
I mean, it depends. I think there's a number of teams. I'm not going to make that prediction right now. We'll
If
talk
he's going
about
to
that
the
once.
Chiefs, I'm gonna be so
I know
angry.
where
No,
he's
no, no, no.
secretly going.
Don't say
No,
the Eagles.
not the Chiefs. I think he's got to go to a big market team
He ain't going
that
there.
has a certain former quarterback of his. But anyway,
The Saints.
He ain't going
again.
there either.
no. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going the Chargers. I don't wanna-
Chargers, Jake.
This might surprise you guys, but I'm going with the Raiders. The
Nah, that doesn't
Raiders.
surprise me. They're a good
They're
squad.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's surprising.
yeah. So
Good
the
squad.
Raiders
don't mind
last year missed the playoffs, I believe, by either 1 or 2 games. When Antonio Pierce became the interim head coach, they had like
They
a fire
started
lit
doing
underneath
better,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, their team looks better than last year. And of course, the quarterback is the problem. But I think Gardner Minshew is able to not carry a team, but definitely help a team go to the playoffs. So I'm going Raiders.
Gabe, are you going Raiders?
I'm also going Raiders. I think Gardner Minshew
like
is
it.
not a bad quarterback. I
Yes.
think he's
I
good enough to
I
win
miss
games.
Minshew on the Birds. So I know how it is. I'd rather have
He also
Minshew than
doesn't
Kenny
deserve to be a
Pickett.
backup, though. He doesn't deserve to be a backup.
Fact. I love Minshew over Pickett. Tell you that. Next up, please be a consensus. Please be a consensus. Give me the Browns over the Cowboys. Get that trash out of here.
I
Get
hate
that
this.
trash
I'm,
out of here.
I'm gonna go Cowboys. I think CD and Dak both have a big
Ew.
point to prove this game. Dak doesn't have a contract
So
next year. CD has had a really interesting offseason. Obviously, he got his
McCarthy's
contract.
gone after this year, by the way. Him and Dak both on the way out.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Oh my God,
Oh.
Ben.
Did you see that play?
Ben, do you know who's missing a quarterback and the contract's up after this year?
Who?
Oh my God, Dak Prescott's gonna be a giant.
Might.
Ew.
That was a
Right.
rumor that. I don't,
Ew.
oh no.
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad.
Disgusting.
I wouldn't be mad.
You're disgusting.
As long as we don't know.
All
quarterback.
right, so I'm picking Browns. Ben, you said Cowboys. Jake, you are going with.
It's tough, man. This is, by the way, shout out Tom Brady, his first ever broadcast game.
Yo, put your
Um,
fantasy football team aside for a minute, damn it.
I am putting my fantasy football team aside. I have CeeDee Lamb, and I think the Browns defensively are better, but I still think I just don't.
What
like
about
the Browns
Deshaun
defense.
Watson? That guy was one of the worst
Exactly.
quarterbacks. In the
Oh my
league last
God!
year.
And he also got the first ever guaranteed contract in NFL history. He deserved that one, right, guys? I'm going with
that
the
was some
Cowboys.
crazy
I'm
mistake.
All right, Gabe.
I'm going Dallas. I don't like
All right,
it.
I'll
Zeke's
stand
gonna
by
rush for
myself. I
300
don't
yards.
care.
No, nothing.
I'll stand by myself. Next up, we got Commanders, Buccaneers. This one should be a consensus. I'm going Buccaneers.
Wow. I'm just kind of surprised. I thought you'd go with your boy, Chris. No? Okay, I'm going Tampa.
I love Jaden Daniels, but he ain't beating Tampa. He'll beat up on other teams, not Tampa. Now, this next one's not going to be a consensus at all.
Wait, hold on. I didn't give my pick yet.
Oh, wait.
And Gabe didn't do his either.
No, I said Tampa.
You said Tampa? Okay, I'm also going Tampa.
Yeah, you keep doing this, and then you keep saying the same team anyways. This next one's not going to be consensus at all. This is, listen. Call me biased all you want. Everyone knows I'm a Georgia football fan. All right, that means the Yankees are winning. Everyone knows I'm a Georgia football fan. These two teams had a great game last year, and it's time for revenge, fellas. It is time for revenge. Give me the Rams over the Lions. Matthew Stafford's coming back with a vengeance.
No.
Vengeance. I predicted the Rams to go 13-4 and win that division anyways. Give me the Rams.
I don't know why me and Chris I feel like picked mostly the same ones. I'm also going LA. I think LA is one of the most underrated teams in the NFL. I think they could win that division, honestly. Like that Rams team has
they're beating San Fran for that division this year.
The only question mark on that team is the offensive line and the pass rush.
They made some great moves for the offensive line this year. They took Jonah Jackson. They re-signed Kevin Dotson. Rob Havenstein's still there.
It's a question mark. I think it's going to be solid, and the big question mark is that pass rush. They got two rookies there. What are they going to produce? Obviously, I mean, Florida State hasn't looked the same without those two guys. So
all I'm going to say, though, as time goes on, the core four is just going to get better. If you don't know the core four, it's Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Byron Young, and my guy, Kobe Turner. They're only going to get nastier as time goes on.
As much as I want to go for fantasy-wise, Kyron Williams for the Rams, the Lions, at the end of the day, you can say this, look back on this, at the end of the year, the Lions are my Super Bowl pick. And I think the Lions are going to start out 1-0 against the Rams. I think it's in Detroit as well, right?
It is.
Yes.
It is? Yeah. What happened last time they were in Detroit? They got whooped. So I think
Stafford revenge game.
No, I think Stafford's gonna crumble under pressure against his former fan base.
Cup's healthy too, man.
Don't care. He was healthy in the playoffs.
All right, Gabe.
Lions.
The more I think about this Rams team, Chris, the more I like it.
Yeah,
this is a tough game for them, but I think Detroit that's a big favorite, -4. I think the Rams.
You're going Rams.
I don't know. I think they got the upset here.
Yeah.
Really? Honestly, if I'm standing alone, and
dude, you're making me want to go grab my Aaron Donald jersey.
If I'm standing alone, my team is Detroit. I'll take that every time. Honestly,
you guys are making me want to grab my Aaron Donald jersey so bad right now. And our last game, our Monday night football game, Jets, San Fran. Now, I'm going to say this. If Hassan Reddick plays for the Jets, give me the Jets. Otherwise, I'm taking San Fran. And yeah, so he's not going to wind up playing, so I'll take San Fran.
Really? He's the deciding factor?
Yes. Yes, he is.
That's okay.
He's the 49ers' father. He did it once. He'll do it again.
I'm going with the 2024 / early 2025 comeback player of the year, and I'm going the New York Football Jets. And call me crazy, but I think San Francisco is due for a slight fall off this year. I think they'll still be a good team, but yeah, I just think New York, they have a lot to prove. Aaron Rodgers has a lot to prove. Wow. He's going back out to San Francisco. That's where he's from. So, and he's played well in San Francisco throughout his career. So I think I'm going to go with Jets.
6 seconds on the field.
Wow.
Because Monday Night Football again.
They signed Tyron Smith. Like, their offensive line is going to be solid.
Tyron Smith should be in a retirement home.
They got Fashanu too, but Jake.
I know. I think that it's a very close matchup. I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a great year, a great comeback year. He's not going to have an Aaron Rodgers type year. He's just going to have a good year.
Maybe he'll win MVP again.
Absolutely not. And I think his first game back against one of the best defenses in football is going to be tough on him. Give me the Niners.
Gabe, end us off, Gabe.
I'm ending us off on this. The Niners are a really tough opponent, but we saw the Jets last year without one of their best players. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be MVP form, like Jake said. But at the end of the day, he still is Aaron Rodgers. He'll still have that IQ with him. He goes to all the darkness retreats. That helps him out a lot, I heard. In all seriousness, though, I do think Aaron Rodgers comes out and reminds the entire world who Aaron Rodgers really is. He puts on a show. The Jets win in a close game.
Wow.
Wow.
And there we go. There
Guys, I truly hope I'm wrong and that the Jets win this game. I'll be so happy.
Why? Because then you're
Truly.
one less point.
I
behind everyone.
just want to put it out there. I don't like either of these two teams, but I'm going.
Why don't you like the Jets?
Yeah, what do you have against the Jets?
I don't like Aaron Rodgers at all.
Okay.
What?
He didn't play last year. You got a break from him.
Aaron Rodgers made football such a better sport.
He did.
There was a big pause between
Yeah,
football and
thank
some
God.
other sport.
Thank God
I was
you,
like,
you said the
"Wait,
second
made
part.
football?"
Both Gabe and I looked up after you said that. That was so funny.
Listen,
Aaron
I
Rodgers
said this
made
before.
football.
If you guys realized, do you guys recall I made Aaron Rodgers my player of the week, and I stated that he
Yep.
made football 10 times more fun to watch against the Eagles?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite players ever. The dude has, what, is it 3 MVPs? Yeah, it's 3, right?
Doesn't he have the record for most MVPs as a
Yeah,
quarterback?
dude, he is nasty. I love Aaron Rodgers,
As
man.
good as he is, won that Super Bowl than this guy.
That's
Guess
true.
what, though? As good as he is, I'll still rank him higher than Patrick Mahomes just because I hate Patrick Mahomes.
That's crazy.
Any closing thoughts?
The Phillies need to get a run in this half inning, or else I'm gonna be sad.
Anyone
Jason
else?
Dominguez- Jason Dominguez needs to be in the majors right now. Contract
Malik
manipulation is annoying.
Here's what we
Malik
got.
Neighbor sucks? What? Oh,
What?
go on.
What?
No,
He didn't even play
Malik
yet.
Neighbors will be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football by the end of the year.
I really hope.
You
that's
mean
not true, or
Marvin?
else
You
I'm
mean
gonna be
Marvin
really
Harrison Jr.?
Wait,
No,
okay.
I mean Malik Neighbors.
Can you guys believe this? My fantasy draft with my friends at home, Malik Neighbors went with the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. Like,
Yeah.
that's too high, isn't it?
I would have drafted him 5th, 6th round.
I
I
think
would've
he
drafted
fell to
him
30th overall in ours, but I'm not completely sure.
That's crazy. The 2nd
Well,
round.
were you talking about in our podcast draft after I kept saying James, Jake, Gabe? He's gonna take him yet? You're gonna take him yet?
I don't like
No?
taking Giants, bro, because
Okay.
they always do bad.
Well, I guess that'll be it then. So stay hyped, stay hungry, keep the frenzy alive. We'll see you on the next one.
Check out the Instagram.